Hey guys, it's your friend Choice CJ here, and I'm coming to you guys today with my Week 1 team builder for the PMC D League. We are going up against Akki VGC, coach of the Portland Crobats, and we of course are the coach of the Baltimore Oriolus. Now, let's take a quick look at Akki's team. He's got probably the scariest team in the league, to be honest, or top 3, I would say. He's got Hoopa Unbound, Landorus T, Amoonguss, Slowbro, Excelgor, Golbat, Cobalion, Golurk, Magneton, Avalugg, and Megalopony. So, if you've been paying any attention to the Smogon metagame the last 2 to 3 months, Hoopa's probably the first Pokemon that jumps out at you. It was recently banned from Smogon, but for the purposes of PMC, they decided to keep it in for the suspect test. I'm not really decided on whether or not Hoopa is deserving to be banned in League format or not, but I do know this: it's a threat. It is a major threat. And then Lopunny is probably the other Pokemon that immediately jumps out. Lopunny is just a monster in all formats, whether it's OU or Counter League or whatever else. There's just obviously hits the entire metagame unresisted, and it's so fast and it's really powerful. It's really hard to handle. Other things that really stick out to me: Lando T is going to be a problem. I don't really have a great ground resist on my team. And in fact, I'm leaving my only true ground resist at home on the bench this week, so call me crazy, but I think is what we got to do. Then he's got actually a lot of bulk between Amoonguss, Slowbro, Golbat, and Avalugg. Those are 4 really annoying Pokemon. He's got good utility with Cobalion and Excelgor and Golurk, and then he has a Magneton for some reason. I don't think he's really going to have any trouble with steel types, but, you know, always good to have a strong electric type that you can put on your team. Maybe you slap a Choice Scarf on that or a Choice Specs, and you just start, wrecking lives. So, I don't really have a Lando T counter on my team. I don't really have a Lopunny counter on my team. So we've done the best we can to make a pretty fun team. That's fairly offensive, but has, a good backbone as well. And we're going to start off with our buddy, Andre, the Emboar, running a pretty normal set of Sucker Punch, Flare Blitz, Wild Charge, and Superpower. Let's go take a look at his team real quick. So, Flare Blitz, Flare Blitz, Flare Blitz, Wild Charge, Flare Blitz, Flare Blitz, Flare Blitz, Flare Blitz, Flare Blitz, Flare Blitz, Flare Blitz. That's pretty much how it goes. Sorry about the Skype noise, guys. But anyway, so he does not have an answer for Emboar on his team. He just doesn't. His best answer is going to be Wakanberry Slowbro or Wakanberry Golbat, which doesn't make any sense because you need Eviolite. Obviously, Emboar is not the fastest, but there's a lot of Pokemon that we can come in on his team, like Avalugg, like Amoonguss, like Golbat, like Slowbro, probably even the Golurk, and just click Flare Blitz and kill something. It's really going to do pretty amazing. I really didn't need any coverage besides those 2. I put Superpower on here in case I don't want to take all the recoil damage from Flare Blitz and Life Orb. So I can hit the Lopunny on switch in, or Avalugg, or Magneton, or Cobalion. And it's going to hit the Hoopa for relatively decent damage as well, if I'm not clicking Flare Blitz. But 9 times out of 10, I think I'm just going to be clicking Flare Blitz in this game. It's going to be absurd. It's going to be really, really absurd. We did put just enough speed on this thing to outspeed a 0-speed Golbat in case he decides to bring it. I think I speed creeped a little bit, maybe like 1 or 2 points extra. It might be worth it to just take this point and put it in, but I think I'm just going to leave it as is. It should be fine. What is Golbat going to do? Well, I guess it was Brave Bird, but anyway, not the point. The point is Emboar is a monster, and it's going to be doing work this week. Next up, we have Nagini, the Choice Scarf Hydreigon, Draco Meteor, Dark Pulse, Earth Power U-Turn. This is going to be pretty familiar. Let's do this again. Dark Pulse or Draco Meteor. Dark Pulse, Draco Meteor. Dark Pulse, Draco Meteor. Dark Pulse, Draco Meteor. Same thing. Earth Power. Draco Meteor. Earth Power. Draco Meteor, Draco Meteor. Hydreigon tears through his team. It's pretty amazing. I'm really pumped for it. I originally had this as just a Draco Plate set. But I ended up making it Choice Scarf because I want something that can outspeed Choice Scarf Lando T and also outspeed Lopunny if it comes down to it. And this is going to be the best Pokemon for doing that. Plus, if he wants to switch in like a Salt Vest Hoopa or something, we can lure him with that U-turn here and do a lot of damage. So those are going to be the two kind of wall-breaking Pokemon. He just doesn't have good resists for either of these Pokemon, and we can get into a situation late game where I think Hydreigon can just click one of these moves and probably end up sweeping. Emboar's going to have a little bit harder time doing that just because it is so slow. But, on the bright side, we do have Sucker Punch, so Life Orb Sucker Punch is going to be doing damage as well. So those are the two offensive mons that I'm bringing this week. Or the two wall-breaking mons that I'm bringing this week. Next up, I'm bringing Knuckles, the Sandslash. And this is a Verdugo special, if I've ever seen one. He recommended this set to me. Stealth Rock, Swords Dance, Earthquake, Natural Gift, with a Ganlon Berry, which turns your Natural Gift into an Ice-type move. Now, this is, I don't know. I like gimmick sets, but this is like a little bit outside my comfort zone. So we'll have to see how this goes. But basically, here's what we're thinking. We can go with rocks with this thing. Maybe even turn 1, we can lead with it. The switch into this on his team is pretty much just Landorus T. He has other Pokemon that he could switch in, like Golbat, which also doesn't appreciate a Ganlon Berry Natural Gift at +2. But anyway, he can switch into that. But if we think he's going to be switching the Lando T in, we go for a Swords Dance. We can easily live whatever hit he wants to go for, and we KO back with a +1 Natural Gift, even if he's fully physically defensive. This has enough attack investment that it'll do that. And the rest of it I put into defense so that I can take on that Lando a little bit better in case it is offensive. And if we need to get off a desperation hit on Lopunny, we can probably take 1 high jump kick. I'm almost positive we can't take 2. So that's really the only reason that this Sandslash is here, is for the Lando T, because I don't have another answer for it, to be honest. I can Sucker Punch with Emboar. Garth can take 1 from a Jolly Choice Scarf if it's at nearly full health. But that's going to be the Sandslash. I could have brought Whimsicott, and I nearly did. It doesn't do a whole lot else versus his team besides check the Lando. And we could slap an HP Ice on there. But, you could see that coming from a mile away. So it wasn't even going to end up being that effective. Memento would have been nice this week. And you'll see why later. I guess it's probably pretty obvious. But, so Sandslash is the answer. In a pinch, we have a Levitator with Hydreigon, so it's not all that bad. But, obviously, Superpower U-turn from a max attack Lando T is going to do some work against Hydreigon. We do outspeed with Hydreigon, by the way. We put enough speed investment in here to outspeed a Jolly Hydreigon, or Jolly Landorus. So hopefully we can rely on Knuckles this week to get that surprise kill. If not, I'm going to have a hard time winning this week because Lando is just a problem. Scarf Earthquake is just going to wreck me. So anyway, coming up next, we have our Lopunny counter, which is Crest Jr., the Masharna. With Baton Pass, Heal Bell, Moonlight, and Moonblast. Now, I'm actually really excited to use this, and here's why. So, I don't have a Hoopa switch in on my team. And the reason for that is because Hoopa switches don't exist. It's so funny. People are like, oh, well, you can plan for Hoopa Unbound, or, oh, you can plan for Protean Greninja, or you can plan for Mega Metagross. but the thing is that they can plan for you too. And it's not like they have to prepare for an entire metagame worth of Pokemon. They have to plan for only 11 Pokemon. And in reality, it's more like 8. Because there are some Pokemon that are just not viable against certain teams. Like, for example, Sableye this week is pretty unviable. Between Hoopa and Lopunny, it just wasn't going to work. So I left that on the bench. Anyway, point is, this Pokemon is a good switch into Lopunny. Lopunny is not going to do a lot even with a return. If it's like Power Up Punch or something, then that's different. That's kind of a problem. But the real thing is that Musharna baits in Hoopa. And that, it's very obvious. So we have the ability to Baton Pass as soon as we switch into Hoopa. Or as soon as he switches into Hoopa. We can go into Hydreigon. We can go into Garth. We can go into whatever we need to. We can go into Emboar and go for Sucker Punch. That's kind of the whole theme of this team this week, actually. There's 3 U-turners / baton passers. That's another reason I wanted Whimsicott, because it's a good U-turner, but it just wasn't meant to be, I don't think. So that's probably gonna be what Musharna does. It's gonna bait in the Hoopa and allow me to work around it, because then I can go into Hydreigon and get a very, very, very free U-turn. Because U-turn is gonna kill Hoopa, obviously, so he can't stay in. He'll switch into something, and then I can go into the appropriate counter. The only thing is going to be if he has Lopunny and he anticipates my switch into Musharna, and he goes into Hoopa, then that's kind of bad. Which, there's certainly a chance that happens. Yeah, I don't have another Lopunny switching on my team, really. So if I do it too many times, it's going to get predictable. But, we're just going to have to do what we're going to have to do. We don't really have a better way to deal with Lopunny. And then we don't have a way whatsoever to do with Hoopa. So here we are. Heal Bell because it's good. Moonlight because it's recovery, and that's always good. And Moonblast because it hits most of his team. It still hits the Lopunny for super effective damage, but it also hits Hoopa and other stuff. It's still resisted by Magneton, but it does, it's still neutrally effective against Cobalion and stuff like that. Next up, we have Garth. I was originally running Stealth Rock on this before I decided to run Knuckles. And so I was kind of stuck with what to do with this Pokemon. But I decided to basically just make it, I guess, a lure set. Put coverage on this that can hit everything pretty much super effectively. Psychic, Shadow Ball, Icy Wind, U-turn. It is relatively bulky, so it can take some hits pretty well. And we do have the Colbur Berry, in case he wants to, hit us up with a Choice Scarf, Hoopa Unbound. And we can kill that thing with a U-turn. It's not going to be a problem. Psychic for Lopunny, Psychic for Amoonguss, Icy Wind for Landorus, Shadow Ball for Pokemon like Golurk, and also for Slowbro. So I don't think... If Jirachi can get like 1 or 2 surprise kills, even if it just gets 1 surprise kill, that's going to be worth it. It's not really that much of a surprise. But yeah, the idea with Jirachi is you come in and make something work. Actually, so as I'm looking at this now, I don't really have a great answer for Amoonguss, so I'm going to switch this to Sleep Talk. I don't really know how that works with Sucker Punch, but we're going to figure it out later. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt from this. But, yeah, that's Jirachi. And last but not least, we have Katara, the Tail Glow Manaphy. Let's do this one more time, and then we'll bring the video to a close. Scald, Psychic, Shadow Ball, Scald, Manaphy wrecks this man. It really does. If we can get rid of the Lopunny, Manaphy will win. We can set up on Golbat, we can set up on Excelgor, we can set up on Avalugg, we can set up on Golurk, we can set up on Cobalion. If we have Sleep Claws activated, we can kind of set up on Amoonguss. Giga Drain kind of hurts, but Manaphy is going to hopefully bring us home the W this week. And we are bringing enough speed to outspeed a Jolly Landorus T, max special attack, and then the rest into bulk. I was thinking about running Splash Plate with Surf just to guarantee an Oko on everything. It would 100% Oko, like Avalug if it's fully specially defensive. It would Oko Hoopa, no problem. But, I'm not trying to kill everything from 100%. I'm just trying to get his team to the point where Manaphy can set up one Tail Glow and then clean up the wreckage. And so, in the early game, if we have to bring in Manaphy for whatever reason, Scald is the better move, just because it's the best move in the game. Obviously, that chance to burn is excellent. If we burn a Lopunny or we burn a Hoopa, or even burning an Amoonguss or Slowbro is not bad. So that's the plan with Katara. We need to wall break with Andre and Nagini, work around his threats, and lure in some Pokemon with Knuckles, Chris Jr., and Garth, and then clean up with Katara. So that's the plan. And let's hope that it works this week. This is definitely a tough match. And, this is going to be our first time playing on Wi-Fi, so I'm sure that I'm going to make some sort of horrible mistake. I'm just hoping that all my Pokemon get genned correctly, and I don't have any mistakes with that. If I make a misplay, that's fine, but the genning is, pretty much avoidable. But anyway, I want to thank you guys for watching. Please be sure to check back for more Pokemon content, and of course, be sure to check back for this battle. Until the next time, I will see you guys later.